Gosh, things slow. Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 101 of the Purple Hyacinth podcast called Scarce Seconds, and we're with Fwoot and Emma.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, and before we start, we just have to first express our emotional state, I guess. What was your emotional state when reading this or when finishing this?
Panic, numbness, and then just sadness.
I was just like,
I was going over it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just jaded the entire time.
What? Fwoot? Really? You weren't moved at all?
I mean, I theorized that I thought Lukas was gonna be the one to come in and shoot Ratman. So I was like, okay, that was right. And then I was like, I guess one of them has to get hurt at some point. I was surprised when Lukas got shot, but like, I don't know. I thought it would be one of the four. I'm just like, okay. I mean, it's better than the other episodes. It is a really good episode. I will give it that. I'm just tired. But like, yeah.
Maybe this 1 week break.
Stuff actually paid off. I mean, kind of. Like when I saw that it was Lukas who shot Ratman, I was like, and you made me think Kiwi was gonna die for what? I was like, okay. I was like, kind of pays off, but it really does pay off.
Kind of funny that this just shows that we cannot trust Soph and F anymore. I mean, more than we already don't. Soph has said this was going to be an important character. She was like, "Yeah, this is new important character." And then, yeah,
right away. I'm so disappointed. I was on that stream and we made like a 16-page document of like potential names for him. Like he doesn't even have a name. But let's get into it. Yeah, I actually had to I even paused while I was reading it because I was like, oh my God, I can't continue. I like shut my phone for like a minute. So, okay. So we start off with our Lauren with the blood on her, on her eyes, on her face. And last time we were like, what happened? And now we find out, as Fwoot correctly theorized, we see, I will not call him Ratman because that is disrespectful. I will call him DILF. That is a very respectful term.
Mindy, do you know what DILF means?
Yeah, I do. It is very appropriate. Okay, he's my age. He's like almost my age. If he's 40,
sure. Okay.
He's very handsome. Yeah, he is a DILF. So, DILFy boy, poor guy.
Oh my God, Mindy, I can't take you seriously with you saying DILF.
I can't either.
I can't either. Contradicting terms. Okay, so some people have called him Cal, so fine, we can call him Cal. Cal is going down. He has gotten shot, and his blood is splattering all over Lauren. He falls down. There's a dun. There's this beautiful panel of like Will and Kim standing up. Will is completely shocked. Lauren is sitting on the floor with her little chibi face, and Mr. Cal is dead. And that's the end of our hopes and dreams. We had a whole theory. I thought for sure Kieran knows him, and I was like, he's the one who abused Kieran, who kidnapped him as a kid. Maybe some people said maybe he trained him, but all our theories are down the drain.
Well, I liked the theory of him being the friend that Kieran had, the one that could get them bodies and stuff. Because he seems like he works with Phantom Scythe. Seems like it'd be perfect, especially when Soph said he was going to be an important character. And then
maybe they're lying to us again. Maybe he really is an important character and we're just going to have it all in flashbacks. Or maybe he's not dead.
I don't know. I feel like Ratman gives me the sense he feels like this is when Sake was supposed to originally die. That's what he gives me the vibes of. That's what I feel like. I feel like this is the moment where Sake was supposed to originally die, because Sake was such an important character. It's that he was killed off in the 22nd episode, right, of the season.
Something like
and
that, yeah.
I feel like maybe this is where he was supposed to go, but then they later decided that actually let's kill him off earlier because it better serves the plot this way. And I think it was around this time where they were starting to really focus more on Belladonna, which is why she ended up killing Sake, because if 20 episodes later and we have Darcy, so just thinking about the pace at which F would be plotting out these things and writing them, and I don't know.
I
So
kind of assumed that like something as important like that would have been plotted out like way in advance, but I don't actually know their writing process and how much they have planned out.
Because like Ratman was literally here for like what, 5 panels? It feels weird because it feels like there was so much significance placed on this character, especially with the way that they were introduced, that I don't know. I felt like they had a bigger role to play. And so in my mind, all I can think of is Tim Sake. Like it was Tim Sake who is supposed to come to this point or something.
Maybe it's just like the lighting that he was given. He was given such a like big panel, it seems like such a well-rendered panel that wasn't like seemed like fitting for a character that was going to be important.
He has a character design, like he sketched out. Every other fighter in the scene is just like a blur, like they have a generic uniform and like we don't see their faces. We've seen obviously some faces of like the PS movers. They kind of do have more of a character design, but yeah, we were duped. But yeah, who knows? Maybe he will be flashbacked and we'll find out more. Or maybe not. So anyway, at this point, Lauren picks up a gun that's on the floor and she shoots the nearest Phantom Scythe member in the chest, looks like, from the floor. And then another Phantom Scythe member gets shot while Lauren's looking behind her and she's wondering, who is it? And by the way, yeah, like I read this already a couple times and it took me a while to figure out what was flying.
Yeah, I reread it 4 times that night, which is a lot for me. I normally read it once or twice, maybe, but I had to read it 4 times slowly to process what was happening.
Yeah, it's very actiony and like there's all the smoke and like the lighting and yeah, it's hazy. So who is the person who has been shooting? And we see this guy from on top, and it's none other than Mr. Lukas Randall.
I'm glad he's getting his moment because he is underappreciated.
He deserves it. Absolute king moment right there.
This is like him in his element. He gets to shoot people and kill people. He's always talking about it. Now he finally gets to do it.
Something I love about PH is how it makes like, it may just be me, but like, I feel like all of my favorite characters are never any of the 04. Like, I liked Lauren, but then I liked Bella more. And
to be honest,
Dorothy and Lucas, like, I mean, the 04 is great. Like, not taking away credit for them, like, they're awesome. But the side characters just hit different.
To be honest, I agree with you. Like, Bella is one of my favorite characters almost all time. I just love the ideas that could come from her and just backstory and thought out stuff. And I'm, not taking any of that away from the 04. I love them so much, but just the side characters in this webtoon are just so well done.
That's wonderful when every single character has like a personality and a backstory. It's great. And a conflict. So Lucas at this point, first of all, he looks amazing. This is the classic like hero to the rescue pose. He looks badass. He got this helmet on. Somebody commented that he's the only guy who could wear this helmet and look cool.
I agree with that.
He looks great. And I really do think he's in his element. We don't know too much about Lucas. I don't know how much of his grumpy act is like an act and how much is genuine, but he's doing well. And now he is nervous, and he yells, "Take cover," as he sees people. And Lauren also turns around to see what's happening, and they see a bunch of people shooting at them. It looks like, again, it's kind of hard to tell, but Lucas is on top of he's on the 2nd floor. He's on like this metal catwalk, I think it's called, and on top of a container. And Lauren grabs Kieran, it looks like, while they're being shot at. Again, right, this is like kind of deciphering what's happening. And Will and Kim run to one side and they kind of do this back flip or front flip, and Kieran and Lauren run to the other side while they're being shot at. And Kim at this point says, "Randall, did you bring more equipment? I'm out of ammo." And he throws her a container of ammunition. Lands on her feet. and he yells, "Go." And Kim smiles. She has a little smile. She's so excited because we know who's a good sharpshooter.
This is like Kim in her element right here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure that she doesn't enjoy, killing people, but if this is anywhere where she would really excel at, it's right here.
Mm-hmm.
Kim is literally OP with a gun. Like, yeah. I feel like, I think Kim got like scared there for a moment because like, she is being held at gunpoint, and it has been like pretty stressful for her since like, she had to arrest Lune and go after who she is assuming is Lauren, right? So I think Lukas coming back has brought a lot more energy to this arc, like, Lukas being able to save them. And I don't know, I feel where the pace was a bit staggering, I feel like now stuff is actually ramping up.
Yeah, I mean, he also probably gave them morale. I mean, they thought they were going to get shot, and now, they have someone coming to rescue them. So she, loads her gun and steps out and is shooting at people from behind the container. And we have 4 people coming. She shoots them all, and we see she doesn't really seem to be shooting to kill. Like, she's not shooting at their head or neck. She's shooting at their shoulders, basically.
And I think some in their legs as well. I think that she is not shooting to kill, and this also proves how good she is, how well aimed she is, because you can see how all of these places are in places that are not going to kill them. It may injure them. They may, walk with a limp or have a weaker arm, but it's not going to kill them. And you can kind of see how much skill she has in being able to avoid hitting areas that will kill them.
It's probably also police training, since I'm assuming if it's something like today, like they try to train them to shoot to disarm rather than to kill. Although honestly, if I was highly overpowered, like I'm pretty sure I would try to shoot to kill. If I was in a situation where there were like 50 of them and 3 of us, so I don't know if I agree with that choice, especially since I know they're PS people. But anywho, yeah, she is not shooting to kill. And she wonders, where's the APD? How long could it take to get in here? And the fact that this is kind of she asked this last time also, I do wonder if it's setting us up to be suspicious of something, because I feel like if it was just like, either it's showing like she's stressed out, she's like, where are they? Or like, I'm like, is it trying to tell us that like there was a delay on purpose? I don't think so. That doesn't seem to be, like, because we see Herman outside and he's going in, and like, I don't think there is a suspicious delay, but I don't know. These sentences make me think otherwise. What do you think?
That is for sure possible. It's known that there are spies in the Phantom Scythe, or in the police office from the side. So someone intentionally messing stuff up, But also the thing is, with the storm that was happening, that cut off the message. I mean, there's no way that, there's no way they would have known that it would take longer, especially since communication is probably more spotty.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure if it's the story being self-aware or if it's the story hinting to something, because like, I don't know, it feels like it's being self-aware because there were some pacing issues in the arc, like in the episodes before
funny.
this.
So it's like a fourth wall thing, like an internal joke.
Yeah, like I could see that, but I'm not sure.
Anyway, so she's looking and trying to find them, and then we hear she's from the, looks like this kind of like giant garage door entrance. We hear 3, 2, while there's PS people there, 1 breach, and the door, I guess is open somehow, and we have the APD right out there. They have these long shields, and looks like there's a significant number of them, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I see so far. And we see the PS people behind crates are shooting at them, and somebody from the APD says, "Return fire." And you see him announce it's a guy. We don't know him. He's not someone we know. He is screaming into a radio, remember, priority is to retrieve Liddell, Hawks, and Randall. Don't bother with, and presumably he was gonna say Lune, except he got shot in the head. So
wait, is it Herman?
I'm not sure if that's, it looks too young to be Herman.
Yeah, because people were saying it was Herman. I was like, that's Herman?
If it's Herman, way too young. I feel like I feel like he had like a beard.
Yeah, exactly. Beard, lines, he's much
Yeah.
more angular. Not Herman. He has bigger, more pronounced eyebrows. So this unfortunate person is probably not gonna make a wound to the head, forehead. So now we have a very long, like, horizontal shot, and superimposed over that are some vignettes. So we see a bunch of phantom.
I think that's in the first panel. I think that's Lucas. I can't tell.
Yes, Lucas. So right, the first little shot on top is Lucas shooting PS people on bottom, and then in middle we have Lauren and Kieran. Will and Kim saying there's so many of them, and then on the bottom we have Kieran and Lauren, and Kieran's warning Lauren on your 6, and all throughout that we see like the whole kind of a cutout of the warehouse. We see phantom side people, Lucas on top, and right beneath them is Kim and Will. And there's more phantom sides shooting at them from both sides, more phantom side people, and then on the other side of the warehouse, so presumably towards the back, we have Kim and sorry, Kieran and Lauren. I'm getting all my names mixed up.
Sorry, it's such a good shot. Like the composition and like, you know, the black and white and then the people in red, like beautiful. I love it. Absolutely.
One of my favorite panels. One of my favorite panels of the whole webtoon so far. I just loved seeing, like, it's one thing to see the action panels, and then it's another thing to see it all stretched out, seeing where everyone is and how it's all playing out, even if it's just for one panel like this.
Actually, sorry, I think that Kim and Will are more towards the back, and Kieran and Lauren are in the middle, because I think the APD is coming in from the front and we see them. Anyway, I don't know if it makes that much of a difference, but so yes, the APD shield people, yeah, okay, they're in from the front because the PS guy says APD breach at front door. Because I do remember there were nitros, because the only significance I think it would have is because Herman, I know, split them up into 2 groups, and I think the nitro was in the loading dock, which was in the front. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, whatever. I don't know if it's that important. I'm sure if there's a massive explosion, we'll know. And the APD people are saying, push forward, we can't give up ground. Oh my God, this just sounds awful. I'm very happy I am not one of those people. That's all I'm saying. Just sounds awful. And now we have a view from the outside. We see this guy with orange hair, an APD guy. You know, he's taken out a medical kit and he is hovering over the guy who probably just got shot. And he says, Chief Sinclair, do you copy? We need reinforcements immediately. And, you know, meanwhile, the people there are at the front door. We see them ta-ta-ta, right? They're being shot at. And then we see a boom because it seems somebody has thrown a nitroglycerin bottle out towards the yard and it has exploded.
They're using the nitroglycerin pretty much as bombs right now, and it's probably going to work. Though I imagine it's probably pretty expensive. I mean, they were using it to use all at once to blow something really big up. And I'm wondering how much of this they're going to use and if it would even make a significant like change in the amount of the explosion for later on, assuming that does happen.
I mean, they said that the amount that the explosion is going to be make, you know, the ATST look like a sparkle or something. So I think that the amount of nitroglycerin they have for that is like ginormous, because this like one bottle is enough for like, I don't know, 1/100th of ATST maybe. You know, we don't know exactly how big ATST was, but I think they have a lot of nitroglycerin.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ATST was way bigger than 100 bottles. I'd definitely say like that explosion stretched to the sky. It's probably like, but if blowing up a train station is supposed to look like a sparkler compared to like what's to come. They're probably blowing up an entire precinct, if not like maybe like a massive like area of the Artalis map.
Possibly, very possibly the Redcliffe ball that's planning on happening 2 days after like the final shipment. That's a possibility. They could blow that up. There would be for sure a lot of richer, noble people there, as well as possibly the royalty. It'd be a good way to take them all out at once, because like they're all in one place, and Redcliffe is most likely an apostle. It would work. He can make all those plans, get everyone there, and just not show up.
Yep. What I worry is he would be expected to show up, and people are likely to, like, just by the nature of parties, to like trickle in, right? I used to be like wondering if like would Redcliffe do that to his house because like he seems to value money. I feel like he would do it to erase himself of suspicion, but I'm not sure if he would blow up the house and the Pantheon, because the Pantheon is also supposed to be there, and the Pantheon are his money makers. So
I didn't know the Pantheon's supposed to be there.
I think that it's said that they were going to perform at the party.
Yeah,
it's funny because that's I originally thought that, and then we just did the episode where Lauren is like looking at the tickets. Anyway, so I was like not sure if the ball and if the circus was supposed to perform at the ball or not. Anyway, okay, doesn't matter. So, this explosion, do you think it killed this guy and the captain or whatever, or is it too far away?
That one, let me see, the one that they threw out the window there, I don't think it killed the person, the medic over there. I don't think it killed them, but very possibly killed other people down there.
Okay, so that second picture, I wasn't sure if that was like a second explosion or if that was supposed to just be the same one that they had just thrown.
Either way, I don't see the truck behind it, or the whatever their car, whatever they're standing behind. So I think it may be the same one, or either way, it didn't hit them, but
from the back though, maybe it's because the whole view looks different. So maybe there's one in the front and one in the back. Okay, whatever. They're trying to kill people. That's what we know. And Lauren and Kieran are behind some boxes. Lauren is shooting. Kieran's kind of like leaning back against the crates, and it's possible that again he's experiencing like fatigue, and he does kind of look like he's not doing that great. He's leaning back and his eyes are shut, and he says, "We have to get out of here."
I mean, we know that he was pretty badly injured very recently. I'm sure that those are some pretty deep wounds, and they probably were not healed enough to not open up with all of this physical action.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kieran, it's very convenient of you for your injuries to be coming back after they were gone for quite a few episodes. Like, out of all the times, you just conveniently chose now.
Are you blaming Kieran for something, Fwoot?
Maybe.
When does she not, though?
Is your betrayal theory coming? I thought we established that this cannot be happening.
It's not the betrayal. It's just Kieran being very convenient in his timing.
I don't like that line. Kieran is a wounded man. My husband always says wounded Mandarin. He's a wounded Mandarin, and he just have summed up. He's like pushing himself, and he's just, but collapsing in between the adrenaline rushes. And Lauren turns to him and says, "We can't just run away in the middle of a fight. My colleagues are out there." And Kieran's like, "Not sure if they'll still consider you one if they get your hands on you while you're here." And that's true. And I'm still wondering, I'm like, is this whole arc going to end with people really not knowing who Lune is, and Kieran and Lauren just coming back to the office pretending everything is totally okay? Like, is that really going to happen?
At this point, Kim knows. Will either suspects, or Kim will most likely tell him I mean, Kim already told him that she suspects Lauren. If they all get out of this alive, Kim will most likely tell Will. I think that if they do end up going back to the office, there's going to be some very tense moments between them.
I also want to say, how is Lauren supposed to do her job with it, like a bullet in her arm, right? Because she gets shot later on, I'm pretty sure. So I'm like, Lauren, how are you going back to your like job without raising suspicion about your suddenly shot arm? Especially if the police realize one of the Lune members was shot in the arm. Lauren, explain. Also, Lauren, why aren't you helping why aren't you helping the police right now? They could really be using your abilities. Like, are the police gonna like be spiteful and petty to her when she goes back? Because they're like, Lauren, where were you? We were like literally dying, and you were what? Hanging out with your boyfriend?
I feel like Kim, for the hell of it, if she figured out that Lauren was shot in the arm in the precinct, would just give her like a very friendly, playful, just a slap to the arm, and I feel like she would do it. I feel like she would.
So I do think, by the way, I think that the story, against my better like judgment, is still going to continue with the vein that they don't know for sure that she's Lune, because I was like, oh, she must for sure recognize her, the eyes, the posture, the kicking. But at the end of the day, Kim said, oh, I'm not sure, it was too dark. And then even when she is trying to unmask her, she's like, I hope I'm wrong. And I think the story is trying to say like she still isn't sure and giving us an out, which I'm like shocked that this could even be logically possible, but I do think that's what the story is trying to like present to us.
I feel like at this point, Kim is trying to convince herself that it's not Lauren. I feel like she does know, and she's just doing everything that she can to convince herself it's not her. And I mean, even though it's, she's only been friends with her for I think 3 years at this point, but like they're close. I feel like she has most of it figured out by now. And like even she may like have her suspicions confirmed after this, assuming they make it out alive, asking Lauren where she was that night. Like there's no way that Lauren as an officer would not have heard the need for help that night. I think that if Kim does not fully believe now, she will put stuff together soon.
That's the thing. I think that if you're on duty, you have the radio with you, but we know that like when Lauren was called for the emergency, like way back in the early episodes, they called her at her home number. So I don't know if she necessarily would have been expected to have her radio if she's not on shift that night, but they may have called her home number. So I have a feeling that that's something we'll find out, especially because Chief Sinclair was mentioned. So, they were contacting him. He lives in the house that she's supposed to be in. So I think we'll come back around to this.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's weird because the police deal with a lot of Lune incidents, and yet, like, they should know, but like, Lauren is never there with them dealing with Lune. So I'm like, shouldn't the police be like super sus of her at this point? Because it can't be Harvey, it can't be Kim or Will, because like, they've all been at the scene of Lune. So like, by just trial of elimination, shouldn't it be Lauren?
I feel like there's such an easy way for her to get out of that if they just, with Kieran, plan a thing where, they find someone else and just Kieran goes and tells the person to say that there's 2 people, Lauren goes with them. It would put a lot of blame off of herself, get her off the suspicion list. But yeah, I mean, that's assuming that you even make it out of this not suspected or found out.
Yeah.
Now we have a marvelous sequence, and even if Fwoot will join us in simping, I'm positive of this, because Kieran, has this like exclamation point, and he looks at Lauren. He's like, "Shit, Lauren, you're bleeding," and he reaches out his hand to like gently touch her ear, or I don't know if he's actually touching it, but he's very, very close. And it's so sweet and adorable and endearing. And he cares. And there's another shot of just his worried eyes looking at Lauren. And Lauren's kind of shocked, like her eyes open wide. And she's like, and then she frowns because she's not comfortable receiving affection. And she's surprised, I think, at Kieran being concerned about her. And she said, I'm fine, don't worry, that's not my blood. Well, at least half of it, I think. So y'all, how much did your heart melt during this interaction? You could say
it
zero.
It normally would have, except for that I was kind of freaking out about the adrenaline of a new episode, as well as the panic. Though I was reading through it, I did like this part a lot. Also, the way that's
not the bare minimum.
That's true.
Like, I'm just saying, like, yes, it's endearing, but she's also bleeding from what appears to be the head. I think anyone would be concerned if someone was bleeding from their head, like, you know, right above their head too, because like there's blood dripping down her face. Like if you didn't know that was someone else's blood, you would assume they got shot in the head. Like, concerning. So
I mean, Kieran definitely has experience with other people's blood on his face. There have been many panels that we have seen of him all bloodied up, and it is not his blood. So he does know about that stuff.
Also, just some appreciation for the way that Soph draws eyes.
Yes,
I love how they shine. I love how they sparkle and they pop out in every single panel. Also, especially the up close ones. I just love it. Like the dark colors with the shadows and the masks, and then there's just like the bright blue and the bright yellow, and I love it.
I actually look green here. They also looked green in 93 in the cave. So I know my eyes always look green when I'm wearing green or when I'm different settings, but really they're blue. So yeah, I appreciate the fact that they like recognize that people's eye colors looks different in different lights. It's also nice to see him with green eyes because it's also very pretty. Anyway, the scene is so wonderful, and I'm so happy that Kieran, yes, it's bare minimum, but also like he reaches out his hand. That's the next level. That's next step, you know, to like either maybe touch her or sort of touch her or almost touch her. Closer than he got in episode 93. So yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I am proud of the development that Lauren is even letting him get close enough. I am glad that it is developing. Though I hope
they're standing super close too.
Yeah. I'm glad that stuff is developing and getting better. Though I just am hoping that it does not end up happening too fast.
Yeah. I was like, oh. Because like I mean, I thought there were some pacing issues with the relationship because like I thought it was going kind of quickly. Because like, you know, the main episodes we had for them were like 81, then 83, 84, 93, and then like a couple like episodes of them working together, right, in the factory, and then this, and it was like, oh, I'm surprised Lauren didn't say something snarky or something. So yeah, I wish we got like another episode of them bonding, but it's fine.
I think honestly in this situation it would be like I would not say something snarky. I don't know. It's just I don't know, but like I feel like it's way too much stress to like bother with snark. So we love this. We're so excited, but their romantic moment is ruined. It is ruined by somebody shooting, and they are ostensibly aiming at Kieran. And Lauren pushes Kieran aside and shoots at the guy. Yes. So you see, wait. Fwoot, you said you wanted to see Lauren save Kieran, and here she does it.
Also, okay, but I need her to save. I need them to be on like equal leveling. Like he's like on a mountain, she's like on a rock. On how many times that they've saved one another.
I want like a big savior because as much as I, you know, appreciate them looking out for each other, I want Lauren to save Kieran in like, I mean, this is like a big way, you know, he could have died, but like, you know, I want her to save him in like a super big way where it's like, not just like a casual, you know, shoving aside but like a really big, you know, saving him from very, very near death.
Yeah, there needs to be emphasis on it. There's not a lot of emphasis on this, whereas in the many instances where Kieran has saved her, like, you know, when he killed that thug on the rooftop, like an entire cliffhanger of emphasis there. And like when he like yeeted her out of the Onslow closet thing, a lot of emphasis there too. Like,
yeah, you're right. I don't think this counts as quite big. But you know what I thought was going to happen in this arc was that Kieran was like going to collapse and Lauren was going to like carry him or whatever. But like, given the fact that she got shot at the end of this episode, I don't know if that's going to happen anymore.
yeah, I was like, wait, come on. I swear, if Kieran has to carry her,
I will be upset because I want her to carry him.
yeah,
she's stronger than she looks.
We've already
she is stronger than she looks. She is stronger than she looks, and I want her to carry him.
Oh my god. Okay, wait, guys. Guys, season 1, Lauren cuts her arm, gets carried by Kieran. Season 2, Lauren gets shot in her arm, gets carried by Kieran. Season 3, Lauren loses her arm.
No,
Don't.
You have to stop, Fwoot. This is not correct.
I'm just noticing a pattern here.
You're making a pattern. You're inventing it.
You're gonna make a pattern. Don't do it.
I'm not inventing a pattern. It's happened twice. Okay.
How about
twice over 2 seasons? That is 100% like accuracy rate right there.
Oh, so, the carrying part didn't happen yet. No one carried Lauren right now yet.
Yeah,
but we're theorizing it might happen.
Okay, how about
theorizing is not the same thing as happening.
How about season 1, Lauren gets cut in the arm. Season 2, Lauren gets shot in the arm. Season 3, Kieran almost dies and Lauren carries him. That works for me. I just want Lauren carrying Kieran. I just want it. She's stronger than she looks. She can probably do it.
Taller than her, and he's skinny as well. We've already discussed what parts of him are skinny, but anyway.
Also, wait, just pointing out, is this one of Lauren's first kills? Is this the first person that she's killed?
She shot the other guy when she was on the floor.
Was that? I didn't see if that was like a killing shot. Either way, one of her first kills, like, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of shocked at how. I mean, you know, it'll probably come back to. She'll probably think about it a lot later in the future. But even though like they were about to die, I'm kind of surprised at how quickly she did it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, you know, the adrenaline's running. There's not much time to think. It's more just instinct.
Yeah, I'm curious if we will get, like you said, Emma, I'm curious if we'll get like an afterthought where, you know, at some point when she's home or whatever, she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I killed 3 people or whatever. And I'm curious if that will come to her, or if there'll be so much else going on that she won't even really have time to process that, you know, like who knows what else will have happened by the time this whole thing is over. So she tells him, and I think her arm is still on his shoulder, right? Pushing him. Nice. He's like, at this rate, we'll get shot dead by one of your colleagues. Let's get moving. And she's shooting back. Kieran has his dagger in his arm. He's looking around and she says, how would we even get out? The APD must be circling the factory if the Phantom side wasn't already. And she says, you heard the explosions. They're using the nitro as grenades. And Kieran is kind of like looking around. He's looking outside the window and, you know, you see the flames of the nitro. And he's like, yeah, seems like they're having a lot of fun up there. And he's narrowing. Oh, wait, what happened? Just realized. So Kieran's eyes are narrowed, and that's like a very cynical line. I feel like he's, you know, he's cognizant of the lack of morals that the Phantom side has. And I think he's kind of bitter in that statement where he's like, yeah, they're having a lot of fun, like recognizing that the PS is probably kind of like enjoying killing people. And I know that's how I read his expression, at least, that like bitter cynicism where he's like, yeah, I'm part of this wicked organization where they like killing people.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, also, looks like no one has been able to reach that wing to stop them yet. I'm surprised we haven't already bursted into confetti because some idiot knocked over the wrong crate. And Lauren, while shooting again. So she's been shooting a lot of people. For all we know, she's been shooting many more people dead that we just haven't seen because she's shooting all the time. And she says, I suppose now is the moment when we volunteer for something that's going to get us killed again. Yep. He's like, all right, follow me. So it looks like they are going to try to stop whoever's throwing the nitro from the rooftop or that wing. So good for them.
This one wrong move and every single person in that building goes up in a huge explosion. One of them could fall backwards onto the wrong crate and just boom, everyone's dead.
It's so nerve-wracking.
Even though I know that that's not going to happen because we still have another season to go, I'm still sitting here thinking, what if? Like, they could still set one off.
Yeah, I'm like, here's to thinking that this entire place is gonna blow up and they're gonna find the tunnel.
Yes. I agree.
I want that. I do.
Okay, because I literally thought tunnel theory was dead. I'm pretty sure I even denounced it on podcast. But then I think it might have been the last episode, someone made an offhand comment about like, how the hell did the Phantom Scythe get here so quickly? And I know it was the tunnels. They got here with the tunnels.
I'm hoping that they did because I love that theory. And I mean, especially with like the time period it's based on, like maybe even not tunnels, maybe just even if it's just sewers, like there's still, they could have, like, the sewers in cities like that can take you around places.
I'm totally with that theory because it's in the Batman book. It's in the Batman book, not The Man Who Laughs. What's the other one? The Killing Joke. No, it's in The Man Who Laughs. Anyway, so which is mentioned in 38. So that whole story is predicated on the Joker poisoning the sewer system. And he's like, he also operates underground. So I'm totally convinced I'm the tunnel theory. Plus the fact that the messenger popped up out of nowhere and that Lauren's like, oh, where'd he come from? For sure, I am sold on this theory.
And Wood Factory and the Carmen Camellia are both Phantom Scythe hotspots, so it makes sense for them to be connected with like tunnels.
And that would be a perfect place for Ratcliffe to escape to when he blows up his house. He's like, oh, hi, everyone. Hi, thank you for coming. I'm just going to go pop into the bathroom for real quick. He goes to the tunnel, explodes everybody, and he's safe.
And he can take the circus crew with them. I mean, as far as we know, Bella works in the circus. And, she's known to be, like, Redcliffe is probably an apostle, if it, like, wasn't already confirmed enough. I think even was confirmed. So he knows that Bella, is an assassin. Who knows? There could be other people in the circus that are assassins. They could all be, in the end, working for this. I suspect that Kieran was also in the circus. There's a very interestingly placed and shaped scar on one of his arms, and like the same place where Bella has her tattoo. So that is a possibility that he was in the circus. And yeah, the tunnels are actually there, taking Redcliffe and just the circus with him. It shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, totally. So we're all on board. Great. So now we go back to Will and Kim, who are standing behind at the corner of a container shooting. Lukas on top of them says, Hawk, Slidell, I have eyes on the APD. They've reached the front and are taking ground. Kim's like, finally. And Will says, they'll storm the first floor soon. We need to move. What about Lune? I saw them leave. We don't have time for that. Lukas, get up here. It'll be safer on the second floor. And he's extending his hand down to Kim. And then we have a tap tap. And Lukas is like, hurry up. And he grabs Kim's hand. And it's on the silhouetted against a white background, so it's dramatic. And then suddenly, shatter. We see the glass shatter, and Kim looks up and says, "Randall, behind you," because people have just shattered in through the ceiling. Right? They came in through the ceiling.
It looks like one of those buildings with the glass, like roofs, like the domed ones. Possibly, they probably just broke through that.
Yeah,
makes sense since it's a glass factory.
Yeah, so we have like literally 5 people descending from the ceiling. They don't even look like they have ropes. They're just Spider-Man at this point, and they're shooting. And shoot, Lukas gets shot in the arm while and they're like, oh my god, he's shot in 2 places. And while he's holding on to Kim's hand, and he is falling, and Kim's face, you see Kim's under him, and she's like, and there's blood all over her as well. And then we have a Randall. Okay, I actually didn't read what I said the first 5 times I read this episode. Randall. So it looks like Kim is screaming Randall, I think. And Lauren at that turns around because she hears the yell, and she sees, like, all the way in the background, she sees them falling down and Will on the bottom. And she's like, oh my gosh. And she sees, this is like gorgeous image of them flying. Remember when Soph made this fan art of them flying down? Kind of reminds me of that.
It does. One thing that I'm worried about is that Lukas, I mean this in like the nicest way I can, he is a side character and he's really not that important to the main story as far as we know. He doesn't have any plot armor. There's nothing saying he can't die. There's nothing that he needs to fulfill. Like,
Emma, his plot armor is the fandom.
Do not
true. Slander him like this.
That's fair. I mean, if he died, I would be very upset. And that's why, even though he was only shot in the arm, it looks like, possibly in the leg, I am extremely worried because there's nothing saying he can't get shot again. And yeah, I am very worried, even though it was a minor, it was, shot, he was shot in a minor spot. I'm worried.
Yeah, I mean, like, the worst case scenario, he dies of blood loss, right? Because the bullets don't hit any organs or anything, so it's like he's not going to die from organ failure or something like that. It's just going to be blood loss.
Not yet. He could get shot again.
So, due to an accident that my son had when he was 4, I now know that there's something called an iliac vein, and that is a major vein. And if that doesn't close, meaning if that is punctured, that can result in death. So yes, that like actual thing that happens.
I think there's an artery.
I feel like that would have been established about Lukas if that was the case. Like someone would have mentioned it because that would have raised the stakes for us, which would have made us care more. But
I mean, it could come back in a. So. I mean, I think that there's also an artery close to there, like a big artery. I think around the shoulder area. I may be wrong, but also F is a med student. Like she knows this stuff. She would know, places where he could get hit that would seem like not a terrible shot until later when you realize, oh, that's a big spot, and who knows. He may seem like he's fine, but then later on, after stuff's calmed down, realize he's not good.
There's also 2 things. There's a ton of glass flying around them, and for all we know, he could have landed on one of them, through his chest or something. And the other thing is we see, so he's flying down, we see his face, there's tons of glass. He ends up like he's over Kim. He doesn't move the rest of the episode. So that is not good.
We haven't seen him move any. And I'm scared.
I wouldn't be surprised if he broke something in that fall.
At all. Like he doesn't move his head, he doesn't do anything. And there's enough time for him to move. So like something happened to him. That's all I think.
Even if he's fine, like getting shot in the shoulder there, falling, especially if he fell on something, like he could be permanently dispatched from work, which is, even though he doesn't seem to like it that much, I feel like he would still miss it a lot.
I think he pretends not to like it. I think he does like it. He joined the APD rather than doing another job for a reason. Like I'm assuming, I think he really does like it, but he just pretends he doesn't.
Him and Lukas falling from who knows how many feet or meters. Damn, double homicide.
It's crazy. And yeah, Kim still has her like ammo bag attached, and it's so beautiful because all like the shards of glass are like dispersed and it's like falling throughout all the panels. It's really, really, really like beautifully done. And Lauren's eyes are wide. She is watching them. And then there's these PS members are like rushing in. Will yells, his mouth is wide open. Oh, my baby. And Lauren, at this point, we see a pair of feet walking, and we know it's Lauren. And then we see a PS member grab Will by the shoulder and stick a gun in his face. And then we go back to the image of the feet running. So it's going back and forth. Now the feet first started and now they're running. And then we see Kim and Lukas land on the floor. Kim's on bottom. Lukas is kind of hunched over her. And we see the wound on his shoulder. and we see a bunch of PS people coming, and then another panel of Lauren running, and then Lauren has, with this like super panicked look on her face, has her gun out, and now the PS people have their guns trained on Lukas and Kim, and then Lauren suddenly gets shot. Looks like on her shoulder.
I think arm or shoulder. Either way, probably not a vital spot. And I am sitting one of the same places that Lukas was shot. Yet I am not afraid of her dying, because she won't. She's got. They can't kill her off now. Like she's got more character development to go through. There's more of the story, and she is like the mainest of the main four.
The mainest character, I like that. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she's like already kind of falling sideways at this point. And now we see Will, who has a gun in his face. You could tell it's all happening in like a matter of seconds, all of this, which is really cool. Because I know that, like, I don't know if you've ever had this, but if you ever had like a crazy tense situation, like time slows down, and what really is only a matter of seconds, it just like goes so slowly. So that's the impression we get here, and Will, just like looks back, and you see what he sees. You see that he sees Lauren being shot and like starting to fall down, and then you see the crash where she's fallen down, and it looks like some boxes have also fallen down with her. Okay, and he huffs, and he sees the gun that she was holding fall down, and then it seems like he gives up because he closes his eyes.
This panel hurts me so badly. I saw it and I started crying because it hurts me, especially the panels after this of him. I just he saw like one of the only people that was helping them out like get shot down. For all he knows, could be dead. He's one of his best friends is literally on the floor with another one of his best friends held at gunpoint. He's held at gunpoint. There's literally nothing left for him to do, and he's just given up.
I was so sad. I was like, Will, don't do it. Don't give up. Like, I hate that attitude.
The panel of him looking at the gun barrel right in front of his face. Oh my God.
It hurts me. His eyes looks.
Go ahead.
His eyes are so empty.
Yeah. His eyes look absolutely nothing for him, really.
So somebody wrote something on Discord that I thought was amazing.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think
Warchive or Osprey.
Yep.
So she wrote this.
Of course you did.
Be sad, people, okay? At least he'd go down fighting. This is what he's thinking. At least he'd go down here with his closest friends. Kim fighting till the end. At least they'd go down together instead of her dying alone. At least the APD found the nitroglycerin, saved so many lives, even if they don't get out of their life. At least Lune is on our side, and I didn't have to arrest another best friend. At least he never had to marry Darcy. At least he never had to watch him die. At least he died honoring the Hawks family legacy. He couldn't imagine a better place to die.
I saw that like when she first sent it. She sends me painful stuff sometimes, and that part, like, that was what made me really start crying for the night. And then I was just, that it hurts so badly because that is very likely what he is thinking. Like, he's, if he's gonna die, at least he's there with one of his best, didn't have to see his mom die. He didn't have to, be forced into a marriage. At least, the APD found an nitroglycerin. At least that will save hopefully many people.
Yeah, like Soph did an amazing job. You can see in his expressions that he's already making just amends in his mind. He's trying to. He looks like he's ready to die. Like, he probably wasn't expecting to, but I think he's just in this moment. He's preparing for it, and it's heart-wrenching.
But Kim does not adopt this attitude. Kim, even with a gun pointed at her face, with Lukas like hunched on top of her with several people standing around her. She has her grip on the barrel of the gun and she is trying to wrest it away or move it or something.
She's like,
she's
I think
not
that she's
giving up.
trying to protect Lukas as well. I mean, as herself, but as well as Lukas. Like, she's just trying to keep it away from them. This situation, like, especially considering that, because I can picture it almost in my head, like a 3D area of everything happening. Like Lauren realizing that she probably won't get there in time to, you know, help them out. Will just giving up. Lukas, for all we know, unconscious, possibly dead. Kim, like, still trying. She's trying to fight through with it, but I don't think that she can. Going back through this, I am once again bringing up how worried I am for them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have to say, I admire Kim so much. I love that attitude of like never giving up, perseverance in the face of, you know, extreme danger, fighting back. I love that kind of character and personality. And I was so proud of Kim for never giving up. Yeah.
Saying this again, Kim is, I think, my favorite of the main four. She's the only one with a brain cell. And she's just, people underestimate her a lot because they label her as just the, you know, fun, like the character that's just there for the comedy and the character that likes watermelon. But there's like, she's got so much to her and like such a great personality, and she's just such a great character, and I feel like people always underestimate her.
Fire. I was not surprised at all to see her doing this. She never struck me as the kind of person to give up, whereas Will is perfectly in character. Honestly, like one of the things that I not regret, but the character growth that Will has to do is to develop a backbone, right, and stand up to his father and live his own life and learn to say no and, you know, do what he wants. So the fact that he gives up easily is totally in line with his character. And I'm not saying give up easily, like it's a very reasonable response, right? It's not like he's giving up, you know, before this started, like, but I'm not surprised at each of their reactions.
I feel like just this situation here shows a lot about their character, especially how they do in stressful situations. And you can see like Kim is the type of person who will, you know, probably until she dies, will try to fight back as much as she can. Will kind of, you know, just at that point has given up because we don't know much about Lauren and Kieran yet, faced in like almost, you know, certain death. Like, though I don't think that Will and Kim will die. They, as far as I know, they will die. Like they're being held at gunpoint. And I kind of hope to see Lauren and Kieran in the same situation as well, because just for the reason of seeing how they handle situations like this.
Well, I mean, I think they both have quick reflexes and also, you know, quick thinking, and from what they did at the beginning and from what they're going to do now, I think they're, you know, also like fighters and don't give up and react quickly to try to, you know, take action. So anyway, Lauren yells at this point. We don't hear her yell, but we see her mouth open. So we don't know if she's actually vocalizing, but her mouth is wide open. And she's like, ah! And you see that click, right, with the focus on the gun. So the gun that's aimed at Kim is clicking. So like death is imminent. And at this point, there's a whoosh past Lauren. We see somebody, obviously it must be Kieran, pick up the pistol that Lauren had dropped, aims it, and then we have bang, bang. And then we see all 5 PS members get shot in the head right away, simultaneously. And we have this gorgeous illustration of Kieran with his shirt. This titty window shirt, which I don't like that phrase, but whatever. But it is amusing. And the fire is coming out of the pistol. And Lauren's looking in like complete shock and like just like what had just happened here. And she's, you know, you see the panel of her behind him and shock. And then the last panel is of Kieran looking down. So
I'm very annoyed that his hair is covering his eyes, because I want to see if he has the same in episodes where he has killed people before, you can kind of see how his eyes go dull, like kind of a gray color, and I want to see if they are that color.
It reminds me of the Kieran panels at the end of the prologue, right? Do you remember that when it's like he has blood on his, I think he has some blood, right? But his hair is covering his eyes. However, in the prologue, he's smiling. Here, he is not.
Well, the panel before he smiles, I know because I actually drew this panel. He has a very like wistful, nostalgic look on his face, and that does remind me of the face he has now. It's kind of like a regretful face, a thoughtful face, and like we know there's a reason he doesn't shoot with a gun. We don't know why. Like some people have speculated that he uses blades because this allows him to like really get up close and personal, so he can never like sterilize what he's doing, so he always knows, okay, I'm killing someone, so that he remains human and like the impact remains there. I think there also could be trauma with guns. Maybe his family was killed with guns. Maybe he was abused with guns. Like maybe he was forced to kill people with guns. Some people say he was forced to kill maybe Dylan with a gun. So, but his face definitely reflects some kind of negative emotion, I think. Some kind of like, oh my gosh, like some kind of emotional impact.
To me, it looks like his expression to me feels like disappointment in himself. Like, I feel like maybe for Kieran, he feels like guns are just dirty, right? Like what guns are associated with, that just using guns is a cheat almost because of how easy it is to kill someone with one. And so because it's so like long distance, maybe he feels like someone should deserve to have a chance to fight back, because with a gun, what chance do you really have, right? And also like just duels, it just feels unfair to him, even though he has a knife or something, like, because if he came up to them using a sword, the PS people could anticipate it and they would have a fighting chance. However, he just shot them straight, like no chance at all, and to him maybe it just feels dirty.
So do you guys want to talk about the like significance of Kieran stepping in and doing this for Lauren, for them?
Well, he promised, right, that they wouldn't get hurt.
I have a feeling that that promise will come in even more later, because it seems like he is taking it very seriously. And I feel like he would go as far to get seriously hurt to protect them, because in a way that this is getting them caught up in his stuff, even if he isn't, you know, directly the one putting up the nitroglycerin. I feel like he would still in a way kind of associate himself with that, and he may get seriously injured trying to protect them.
Yeah, Kieran overcame, whether it was trauma or some moral reason or whatever, he overcame his habit or his stance or whatever of not using guns instinctively, and he just did it in a second. He saw Lauren was, you know, this whole thing looked like it happened in like 2 seconds. He saw Lauren ran away to save her friends, got shot, fell down, and he swoops in, picks up the gun, and does 5 amazingly precise headshots from like a distance away. So we know he's skilled. I know somebody in the Discord mentioned, they're like, oh, they did a panel of a little bit earlier where Lauren's like, oh, he can't shoot because he picks up a gun. So I always interpreted that as, oh, he can't shoot because we're in nitro place, right? And he ends up like using the gun to bash someone's head in or whatever. But this person thought that he can't shoot meant like he actually doesn't know how to shoot. And I was like, that's interesting. Maybe Lauren didn't even think he knew how to use it. Didn't even think he knew how to use a gun. But clearly he does know how to use a gun, and quite well.
Honestly, I doubt that Kieran wouldn't know how to use a gun, because like in his discussion with Bella, it's more like them using blades is more of a choice, but they could switch to guns if they wanted, but they just prefer, you know, blades. And honestly, I don't think the PS would equip their best assassin with no sharpshooting skills whatsoever. Because, like, you know, maybe because the PS, Kieran is an investment, right? It takes time and resources to create like an amazing assassin, which Kieran is. And so I feel like the PS would want to prepare their best assassins for like any scenario whatsoever, and that scenario could very well include them not having access to their regular weapons, which in that case they would have to improvise. And Kieran did not have access to blades here. Okay. So like, I mean, I think he had his knives maybe, but like in this moment,
unlimited supply.
yeah, yeah, limited supply. But in this moment, the gun was his best option. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's been in other missions where this was the case as well. Because like, guns are just such a more common weapon nowadays for them.
I mean, considering how many actual weapons there are out there, I wouldn't be surprised if he knows how to use other ones as well. Like, I mean, even though they're probably not as well known, like, I don't even know, but I'm sure that he knows how to use a lot more weapons than just just a sword and a gun. Especially since like over 7, like we don't know when he was taken in, really, but probably over 10 years, maybe a little less. And that's a lot of time to learn how to use a weapon and use it well, especially if that is all you're doing all day.
But yeah, I am so like I'm moved by this moment because to me it symbolizes that Kieran cares. It's two things. It's both his relationship with Lauren that is prompting him to do this, and like you said, the promise he made, and the fact that he doesn't want Lauren to get hurt. But I think there's also an element of he himself has grown to care about Will and Kim and Lucas even, and doesn't want them to get hurt from his own side. But yeah, it's amazing, and like it's emotional development. It's him stepping up to the plate, showing people his human side, his kindness, and it is wonderful.
This episode is, I think, a new favorite of mine, even though I cannot decipher half of what's happening in it because of all the action. Just seeing all of their reactions and just like the suspense of it and the music in this episode, and just seeing this whole episode is just such an amazing episode, even with how stressful and anxious it is.
Yeah, like after a few misses with like with this arc, this episode hit, and it hit really well.
I'm honestly kind of glad that even though it was not a fatal shot, I was talking to some people, like I was saying how at this point I wanted someone significant to get shot because of all of the cliffhangers and buildup we've been having, and I don't want all of that to like end up coming out to nothing. And like even though one of the characters is getting hurt and getting shot is a big thing, I felt like it would be kind of a waste of all these cliffhangers and suspense if nothing big did happen.
Yeah,
and this kind of got that need.
Now it actually feels like the story is going upward, and it feels like the story deserves to go upward, because before it was just like it felt forced. Like the arc before this episode, like the middle of the arc felt really forced. Like I don't know, I feel like the whole them arresting Lune was just unnecessary drama filler, because literally it just made their lives worse and was such an illogical choice, like from any of them. Like, man, I still love PH, but that moment has me like, I'm still like, what the hell? That made no sense.
Well, maybe I'm going to assume that it's going to come into play later, whether they go back to the office and it's like, well, let's try to pretend nothing happened. And then Kim confronts her. But I'm going to assume that it's going to connect to something later. Like it's not going to just be left alone like that.
I just, because I mean, I can see it coming back, but also in the moment, where it really matters for the story to make sense, like it doesn't make sense. Because literally, if Kim didn't arrest Lauren or try to arrest Lauren, they wouldn't be stuck in this situation right now. So it's like, it's frustrating that, because although this is a great episode, it did spawn from it. It would have been avoided had the characters been making logical decisions, and I think that annoys me.
Well, that's the great thing about being human. We do not make logical decisions all the time. It's there's like so many times I read a story and I just yell at the characters. I'm like, why are you doing this? But yeah, that's what happens when you're an omniscient reader and you're not the character and you don't have all those feelings and the history and the emotions. And yep.
I do admit that I do often get upset at characters for the actions that they do, even though I don't know like the reason behind it. And it's kind of, and it makes me realize that, oh yeah, these characters aren't like me. They do stuff that I would not do.
Right. Very important.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like, because in PH, usually there's like always some sort of justification behind everything. And
I think there was sufficient.
Yeah, there is justification, but there's also stakes, right? There are stakes presented to us in this arc. And we know about the nitro, and like every time these, like that's what the middle part of this arc suffered from. It suffered because it presented us with stakes, but then those stakes were either disregarded, dismissed, or completely ignored. Like the arc started off fine, but then it really staggered in the middle, and it was just frustrating to read. And I think a lot of people, like when I started bringing that up, I got a lot of like agreement on that, because we just didn't get any payoff with it. And then like, you know, it just got frustrating at some points to read. And I think it's, yeah, of course we're going to get frustrated at characters for stuff, but I don't think we can maintain being frustrated at a story for an entire arc, because then people are just gonna lose interest.
So what do you want to end the episode with your predictions or guesses for next episode?
I think that it's kind of a tough one because there's so many possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like looking at Soph's Instagram stories, she said it's going to be 2 times as long as like a normal episode. That's why I'm taking a break for this week. But also, I think she also said it's not going to be as like suspenseful, but she likes it better. And I'm kind of worried. But yeah, I don't know. There's so many possibilities for how things could go. I don't have much that I can be sure of.
Theories about what will happen next, Fwoot?
Hmm?
Do you have any theories?
I agree with, sorry, Mindy, I think your mic is cutting out a bit. I agree with Emma. Like, I'm not even gonna try to theorize.
Yeah, me neither.
Too many possibilities.
Yeah, I'm gonna take what comes and be excited. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This was great. If you can't tell, I'm for some reason falling asleep, so thank you so much. This was fantastic, super exciting. So happy we got to do this together. And
I'm glad I got to do one of my favorite episodes. Thank you for having us. This is great.
Yep. Okay, I will catch you later. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Sleep well, you guys.